Hi everyone, my name is Nalishua and I am from St. Peter's, Brighton. I am here with Daniel and Lydia, who are our youth here at St. Peter's, and I'm here with Johnny, our associate vicar. And today we're going to look at James chapter 1. So I'm really excited to get into a word. We are going to read this together and we're going to just discuss what we think God is saying to us. You know, God speaks through the word and he's going to speak through us today. So we're just going to go for it. So should I start by reading James off? Let's go for it. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus, to the 12 tribes scattered among the nations. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. But when you ask, you must believe and not doubt, because the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea, blown and tossed by the wind. Those who do not doubt should not think they receive anything from the Lord. They are double-minded and unstable in all they do. Believers in humble circumstances, out to take pride in their high position, but those who are rich should take pride in their low position, because they will pass like a wildflower. For the sun rises with the scorching heat and withers the plant, its blossoms falls and its beauty is destroyed. In the same way, the rich will fade away, even while they go about their business. Blessed are those who persevere under trials, because when they have stood the test, they will receive the crown of life, and God has promised to those who love him. When tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me, for God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. But each of you is tempted when by your own evil desire you are dragged and enticed. Then after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. Don't be deceived, my brothers and sisters. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of heavenly light, who does not change like shifting shadows. He chose to give us birth through the word of truth, that we might be a kind of first fruits of all he created. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. For human anger does not bring about the righteous life that God desires. Therefore, get rid of all moral filth and give evil and the evil that is so prevalent, and humbly accept the word planted in you, which can save you. Do not merely listen to the word, so deceive yourself. Do what it says. Those who listen to the word but do not do what it says are like people who look at their faces in a mirror, and after looking at themselves, go away and immediately forget what they look like. But those who look intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continue to do this, not forgetting what they had but doing it, they will be blessed in what they do. Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after the orphans and the widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. Wow, so James has just said a whole lot of things there, and we hear him speaking about trials and temptation, but then in the last part he's speaking about listening and doing. And so Lydia, let's start with you. What was the first thing that jumped out to you in this chapter?
Straight away, the first thing that I loved was just, whenever you face trials of any kind, consider it nothing but joy, because you know that the testing of your faith produces endurance. And I just find that so comforting, that if you just look at trials through the eyes of someone who has faith, then you're going to find that joy and you get to choose that joy. It's just kind of a joy that's got a healing power, can comfort you during those trials.
Love that. That's so good. I just love how James is like, consider it joy, because he's acting like, oh no, that's an option that we have. So we don't have to be just really passive in whatever emotion comes to us. So whether we have fear or we have doubt, we can make joy an option. We consider it because God has given us the authority to really choose. And I really, really like that. Did you get anything out of that, Johnny?
Yeah, that it's an amazing verse that
Yeah.
it starts with, and the fact that it's whenever, not if. It's just part of the Christian life that we'll face these trials of many kinds. A reminder that these trials come in terms of health and work, school, relationships, internal things, external things. And again, that it's consider it pure joy.
Yeah.
It's not just see if you can find the silver lining in whatever's going on. It's consider it pure joy. And then it gives, which feels really challenging, and you think, oh, that sounds impossible. But then it gives some reasons. This is where your faith is tested. This is where you work out whether you really are a Christian.
Yeah.
When things are going well, then you think, oh, maybe I believe because it suits me. But then when you're tested in difficult times, that's where you realise, actually, no, I do believe this, no matter what. And there's transformation, it's producing maturity. And then there's this kind of hope that beyond the trial, there's the kind of the promise of new life, that you go through the Christian life is through death and through resurrection. And so there's a kind of reason why we're supposed to be joyful.
Yeah, that's so good. Did you have anything, Daniel, to add to that?
Well, yeah, that we should be prepared and not caught off guard when a sudden trial comes upon us.
Yeah.
Yep. And the line, in this world you will have trouble.
Yeah.
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 How do you think we can prepare as believers?
Well, as believers, we can pray to God for help.
Mm-hmm.
We could also read the Bible, and that could give us courage and hope to go through the trial. Yeah.
So good. Thank you, Daniel. I also was really struck when he said perseverance must finish its work. So there's something there about us not having a quick exit when we're in trials. It's like, actually, there's a purpose and a need for us to persevere, because that's when we reach a stage of maturity and completion. So I think personally, when I'm going through trials, it's so easy to be like, God, get me out of this situation. Like I need to jump out. Like, this is too hard. But actually having that perspective where we're like, oh no, I need to persevere, because what God is doing in my life, it needs to be completed. There's an end to this. So I'm just, maybe there's someone who's listening and who's like, I need to get out of the situation, but maybe God is like, no, you need to stay in this because there's a purpose and there's an end goal to this. And don't take an exit, but ask for wisdom and ask, like, God, what can I do in this situation? And how should I position myself to receive that wisdom as well? So that's what I got.
Presumably there are times where you're in a trial where you should try and get out of it as quickly as possible.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like if you're in a burning building.
Yeah.
Let's just see the completion of this work.
Let me go down with it.
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much. Do you guys have any final thoughts, anything else that stuck out to you?
Well, with this pandemic going on right now, it's been a struggle for many people, and instead of finding a quick route of escaping it, breaking the rules which the government set, should go through it, and then you know that in the end it will have a positive outcome, and life would hopefully go back to normal again.
Yeah.
That is such a timely example of how to like not quickly exit a trial. Like, it's so practical for 2021 people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Listen to the government. But yeah, that's the end of this first chapter of Daniel. We're going to be back with chapter 2. I'm going to look at that as well. Thank you. Bye.